All right. I'm gonna assume that you have already read the full spoilers that have dropped earlier, because I just read them, and I'm still a little bit stunned by the ending. I'm not gonna lie. So I just want to talk about them here and share my thoughts and share how wrong I have been about the Straw Hats. And that sounds crazy, taken at first glance, but coming into Egghead Island, I believed that Saturn was gonna be a menace. I was like, yo, it's over, right? Kizaru, the 9V Ace, those are people we can handle. The Buster Call, yeah, whatever, forget about them. But Saturn, to me at the time, like 30, 40 chapters ago, seemed like an absolute monster. His arrival here was insane, right? We saw a magic circle. Never seen one before. Magic circle, black lightning was going on. He straight up blew somebody's head off just for looking at him. And I was like, yo, it's over. Luffy can beat Kizaru, but I didn't believe that Luffy would have the energy to beat Kizaru and then beat Saturn. But every week we got of Egghead Island, I was proven more and more wrong. And I'm not upset about it. I personally think it's great when you come into an arc with a certain expectation and then Oda just manages to do something completely wild. Granted, there were a lot of people who believed that Luffy could win this fight from the get-go, so kudos to you guys, but for me, I wasn't there yet. But like I said, every chapter we had of Egghead Island, I was being convinced. I was like, yo, yeah, I think Luffy's a monster, man. Gear 5th is going crazy. We get a little kerfuffle revolving around Saturn, Kizaru, Sanji, and Luffy. It starts off with Saturn turning into what seems to be his full Zoan form. He turns into a full-blown spider. And I was like, okay, he's gonna get serious. When I read that spoiler point, I was like, yo, Saturn is getting serious, guys. He's no longer a punching bag. He's gonna start dishing out blows. He's gonna show us why he's Saint Saturn of the Gorosei. He shows up. He confronts Luffy and Sanji. He tries to stab them with poisonous whips. A brand new attack from the sound of it. Luffy dodges it, and he laughs at him. Sanji also dodges Saturn's leg attack. And at the time when I read that, I was like, oh, it's whatever, no big deal. That's his opening attack, he needs to wind up a little bit, no biggie. We go down a little bit. We see Kizaru joins in on the fight. He kicks Sanji, he stabs Vegapunk, that's pretty crazy. And then Luffy witnesses that, and he says, hey, it's time to get serious. Luffy goes into his giant form, and then he manhandles both of them at the same time and tells Sanji to leave. Luffy is declaring the 1v2. Yo, this is low-key what Kaido did on Onigashima, man. This dude was just 1v2ing, he was running the whole gauntlet. Luffy is that guy. I will admit, maybe I just came into this not really understanding that Luffy is a Yonko. Like, he is a monster. Manhandling Admiral Kizaru and Saint Saturn is pretty crazy, right? Kizaru, it already happened to him before, right? When Luffy turned into his giant form, he grabbed Kizaru. We've seen that. But you throw in Saturn on the other hand, it's like, yo, Luffy is insane. And the thing with Saturn too, is that Kizaru, I can forgive, right? Big Luffy, he's done it before, whatever. We already went through that. But Saturn, Luffy grabs his head. You know how disrespectful that is? He grabs his head like he's a claw machine. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And while they're not defeated, right, because Luffy didn't deal the final blow, they're not unconscious, they can still fight. It's still insane that Luffy is that powerful. Gear 5th is in full effect. And the craziest part is that it's a 1v2. And very soon, if you've read the spoilers, this is about to turn into a 3v2. Dory and Bragi are on their way. Yo, Kizaru and Saturn are cooked. This Buster Call, already talked about it like a week ago. This Buster Call is trashed. The Pacifista are on our side. The Seraphim are on our side, and they're also in bubbles. Van Augur and Devon already left from the sound of it. I mean, really, at this point, we have no reason to leave. So 3 months ago, I held a poll asking everybody. I said, hey, do you guys think the Straw Hats have to escape Egghead Island, or do you think we're going to beat everyone? I think about 10,000 people voted. And at the time, 54% of the people, not just me, around 5,000 people who took part in that poll thought that the Straw Hats were going to have to leave this island. And then the other 5,000 or, 4,500, whatever the number really was, they thought that we could beat them. But now come this chapter, if I ran the same poll today, it's probably going to be like a 90% versus 10%. Like, Luffy is destroying these bozos. And then you throw in the giants on top of that. Yo, it's done. It's so done, man. Oh, and Dorian Bragi, like, they had a ridiculous feat in this chapter. Like, they came in, they one-tapped a VA who has like the power of 10 Shigans. I don't exactly know what that equates to, but we had a pretty decent looking Vice Admiral that literally got stomped on. A no-name attack by Dorian Bragi took him out. Yo. The Giants are looking phenomenal. Like, I might have to title this video, I don't know if it's gonna get, shadow banned, but, I might have to title this video Getting Over My Racism. Like, these Giants are looking good. These Giants are looking good. And Dorian Bragi are on their way to see Luffy. Bro, these guys are gonna run into Saturn and Kizaru. The minute they show up here, it's done. And the craziest thing too, I might have to get this commissioned. Like, Luffy is in his giant form. He should be the same size as Dorian Bragi. We're about to have 3 giant characters beating down on 2 old men. Oh, brother. And this is something I was looking forward to personally. Ever since we saw that Dorian Bragi were off the coast of Egghead Island, I was like, yo, I really want to see how the Giants are going to be portrayed in these grandiose fights, right? Dorian Bragi being a VA is cool. It is hype. But I want to see them have like an actual matchup. I want to see them fight an actual opponent. Somebody who Oda isn't exactly going to disrespect, right? Because there is a difference between Dorian Bragi one-shotting a VA versus Dorian Bragi fighting Kizaru. Like, I feel like Oda would handle the Kizaru matchup a lot more respectfully. And if Dorian Bragi's stomping that fight, then we're gonna have to say, yo, like, Oda is paying a lot of attention to it. Oda knows what he's doing. He knows where he wants to go with it. And yeah, that is something I am really looking forward to. How strong are these Giants going to be in the final saga? If Dorian Bragi come over here and they casually handle Saturn, for example, it's like, yeah, maybe Big Mom was right. Maybe these Giants are an army that could help you rule the world. It's absolutely insane, man. And it's just Dorian Bragi, right? Like, Dorian Bragi are coming over here to help Luffy. We're not even talking about Loki. We're not even talking about, maybe Thor if he exists. Like, there's a lot more Giants out there than just Dorian Bragi. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oda is straight cooking with this chapter. I think it is phenomenal. And I guess the main question I have left to pass on to you guys, and I want to see your guys' opinions on this as well, but what do you think about Saturn's transformations at this point? So obviously we don't have the panels in front of us, so we don't know what it looks like, but based on the descriptors, he does sound like he is going full Zoan mode. So I think the chances of Saturn having a Zoan Devil Fruit is looking pretty good. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. I know that sounds ludicrous since he is transforming and he's doing all the Zoan stuff. He has the Zoan clouds going on. But for me, it's just strange if all 5 of the Gorosei have Zoan Devil Fruits. Like, I wouldn't mind it, but you gotta admit, you at least stopped one time, scratched your chin, and said, wow, we just fought a bunch of Zoans in Wano, and now we're fighting the Gorosei, who are all Zoans. I think that's where I was kind of hung up at, because Kaido was the beast pirate captain. We beat them, and then boom, more pirates that have Zoans. It's like, I don't know. Sorry, not pirates, but world government officials. But yeah, it does look like Saturn does have a Zoan Devil Fruit here, and he's just still getting pummeled. I don't know. It didn't exactly help him too much. Maybe Saturn has another transformation. Maybe Saturn has abilities we haven't seen yet. I hope he does, for his sake. Coming off of last chapter, I was a little bit scared because I spent like maybe 20 minutes making fun of Saturn, but I always said, hey, next chapter I could be wrong. Next chapter, Saturn could look crazy. Maybe next chapter, Saturn beats Luffy. And then we get this chapter right here, and Saturn did nothing. Saturn's just here, brother. He's here to get hit. Maybe Saturn is the Fukuro of the Gorosei. I don't know if you guys remember who that is, but in CP9, Fukuro was the owl guy, and his whole purpose was to get hit. Maybe that's what Saturn is. Maybe he's just showing us how it's done. Yeah. The punching bag no me. Oh boy, absolutely insane chapter. Let me know what you thought about the full spoilers down below. I would love to hear from you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next spoiler discussion video. I don't know if I'll make another one. I might make one about Vegapunk and what he'll share, but I feel like that'll just be a really short video. But yeah, the main thing I wanted to talk about was just Luffy and Dorian, Bragi, and even Sanji. You could throw Sanji in there too. Just how we destroy Kizaru and Saturn at this point, man. It just gets worse and worse for them every week. Another one of my favorite parts, I guess, would be the VAs, but we don't get too much out of them. But I do love that they have names, and I'll probably talk more about them later. I feel like they all have cool references, but I haven't exactly done my homework on that yet. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Catch you guys later, Signing out.